Last night, FSW, aka Future Stars of Wrestling, put on an event for Chris Bey, a special event. He got injured back in October of last year, scary neck injury, so prayers up to him. No timetable on his recovery. It's definitely going to be a while with a neck injury, if he even is able to come back. But they held an event for him. It's been a Beyefit for Bey, so that was the thing they had, and I had ordered it. I did the free trial with Thriller TV so I could see it. Then I canceled my subscription immediately after. But it started off with a great video package of Chris Bey and his career, and then later they showed a video package of him and Ace Austin with them as a tag team. Neck injuries are scary. We saw with Big E how he hasn't been able to come back to wrestling yet. So that's something that you definitely take serious, and you take as much time as you need for something like that. But shout out to Chris Bey. Shout out to FSW for putting the event together. It was a few things that weren't great about the event. Number one, well, it wasn't a lot, but the major thing was the bad, it was consistently lagging, like the event on Thriller TV. And apparently, Thriller TV never been this bad with lagging before. Maybe it was because so many people have bought it. But essentially, stars from TNA, AEW, WWE, and New Japan, they came over to FSW, who had their own roster, and they did a collaborative event for Chris Bey, and you could donate money to help Chris Bey's recovery, as he is able to walk. He usually doesn't. People aren't ready to walk after that time, but he is having a speedy recovery. So, but seeing all these wrestlers from 4 different promotions come together and join another promotion, so you have wrestlers in 5 different promotions working together to put on an event. Some superstars who were advertised weren't able to make it, but they were able to adjust really well and put on a good show. The first match started with a battle royal, which AJ Francis was in. This battle royal wasn't that good. Like, it was a bad way to start the show. You had botches in the battle royal. AJ Francis looked dominant, which was one of the takeaways from the battle royal. But aside from that, like, it was multiple botches. It didn't look good. Starting with all 30 men in the ring. It made sense because you didn't want to go too much overtime, but it was just a lot of chaos. It was way too chaotic. It wasn't good until it got down to the final 6. And then Joe Braxton, he hit this cutter to AJ Francis to eliminate him. So he ended up winning. Smaller guy ended up eliminating AJ Francis. Like, them two being the last 2, they did a good job. So that made it a bit better. But the Battle Royal itself wasn't good at all. Then you had Rey Mysterio. He sent the video of himself talking, recorded himself on his phone talking, then he sent it so they could air it. So that was cool. Just all the love and support that Chris Bey is getting, it's really nice to see. Like, people, they like to make it, it's all about competition. Like, these wrestlers really got respect and love for each other. Obviously, they're going to want their company to do the best they can, but these wrestlers aren't in competition with each other. They're there to support each other all the time, and you can see it throughout this event, and especially in the main event, which I'm going to get to. But next you had Swerve Strickland, and he cut a really good promo. It was very passionate. And then he had this quote, he said, "You never want to make a career off a moment. You want to make your career the moment." And I did steal that quote. I posted that. That is originally Swerve Strickland's quote. So you've seen it on my Instagram or Twitter, or even here on YouTube, that it is Swerve Strickland's original quote. I quoted it and made it mine, but that's actually his quote that he said. It was a really good promo. Like, he was talking about how great Chris Bey is. And unfortunately, he had a ruptured eardrum, so he wasn't able to compete. So they had to adjust based off of that. Then he called out Kenny King, who he was supposed to wrestle, and Swerve let him know, like, once I'm healed and I'm healthy to go, this match is going to happen sometime this year. Like, that match is still going to happen. It wasn't able to happen tonight. So FSW made an adjustment, and they did Kenny King versus G-Sharp versus Frankie Kazarian versus Ice Williams versus Danny Limelight, who was the FSW World Champion for the FSW World Championship. And this 5-way match was a match of the year contender. Like, there was good spots. You had high-flying moments. You had like multiple spots where it's like double submissions in the matches. They tried to show their strength in this match. Frankie Kazarian, he was a star in this. Like, he really shined. He looked great in this match. And then, like, I wish he would wrestle more on TNA, because the fact that he was able to do some of the stuff he did, it really showed what he can be. Like, I could see him when he does cash in. I best believe he's going to beat Joe Hendry for that title when he does cash in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet thing. But you had Ice Williams, WWE ID prospect. He ended up hitting 2 moves towards the end of the match. but Danny Limelight, he took him out, and he was able to retain his title, slipping in to get that win at the last minute. But this match was really fun. If I'm able to go back and watch this, I'm gonna probably go back and watch this sometime this week and break it down even more, because I really think this is a match of the year contender. It's only March right now. It's March 24th. But so far, through these 3 months of 2025, that is a match of the year contender, and it's definitely going to be up there by the end of the year. That's how great of a match that was. I really enjoyed it. Then next you had Makeshift Chemistry versus the Unguided versus Lights Camera Faction versus the Rascals, a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. I never understood in Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matches why it's not one guy from each team in the match, and it's just two. But anyways, the match was actually pretty solid. I think the logic of them pinning and the logic of them breaking up the pins made sense, but the fact that they went 4 pins knowing there was other guys on the apron consistently didn't make sense in the beginning. But it was a slow start at the beginning of the match, but once it got towards the middle, once it hit its stride, it picked up. The high-flying action was great. Then the Rascals ended up getting the win. It was a really good Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Then after that, they did a video of ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bey. They had a really cool video package. The video package they showed of Chris Bey throughout the night was really good. So shout out for FSW on that part. Then you had a match with Katie Forbes wrestling Gypsy Mac for the FSW Women's Championship. Then obviously RVD was out there supporting his wife Katie Forbes. This was a cool match. I mean, it was good for what it was. It wasn't no botches really. It was some interesting spots, some freakish type spots for people that's in. You had Katie Forbes. She like twerked in Gypsy Mac's face into a reversal. I was like, okay, that happened. But the match was actually good. Like, they put on a solid wrestling match, and Gypsy Mac, she was able to retain. RVD tried to get Katie Forbes a chair in the ring and distract the ref, but Gypsy Mac ended up using it, and the ref didn't do nothing about it, because the ref saw that Gypsy Mac had the chair last, but because of what RVD did, the ref was just like, you know what, forget it. Then the next match was BYP, Rhino, Jaw Vito versus Alex Zane, Arya Davari, and Nino Black. This match was also bad. This was only a bad match on the card, the 6-man tag team match. Rhino team ended up getting the win, but it was really so slow-paced. The heels dominated a majority of the match. Arya Davari and his team, they dominated most of the match and ended up losing. Then the dude in the All-American suit got gored through a table. Through a door, which got introduced in the match for no reason, and it wasn't used. It was a lot of randomness in this match that didn't make a lot of sense. And then you had the next match, which was Rich Swann versus Ricochet. They shook hands before the match started. Then they put on a good match. Like, it was about 20 minutes. It was a really solid match. I think it was too many no-sells in it, but it didn't take away from this being a good match. Sometimes you have to do that to make a match what it is, to make a match special, and they were able to do that. Like, people that went to this show, they're definitely going to remember this as being a great match. Like, if you haven't watched wrestling before, this will definitely get you into wrestling. Seeing two stars like Rich Swann and Ricochet go at it. Then Ricochet would end up getting the win. And Ricochet showed respect to him afterwards. I like, the best part about this event is that even like the heels, like, they were able to show respect. Like, they had their long-time friends. They got respect for each other. Ricochet, he was just saying, you know what? Forget the heel gimmick. I'm dropping all that. I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to hug him after the match and show respect to him. Like, I really respect that, especially with this being an event to appreciate Chris Bey. So I like how they did that. I'm talking about the stars that are from the other promotions. What Danny Limelight did at the end of the show, I'm going to get into that. He's part of FSW, so what he did makes sense, because it's like, if you're part of the brand, you shouldn't, no need to change your character, continue being who you are and what you are. But the stars from the other promotion, like being heels but dropping their acts to show respect to Chris Bey, that's just a class act by everybody, and I respect everybody that did that. Then next you had a fatal 4-way match with Jada Stone, Brooke Havoc, Brittany Brooks, and Maserati. This was a good good fatal 4-way match, and Brittany Brooks ended up winning. I feel like any 4 of these women could have won. I didn't know much about any of them, but it was a good match. So shout out to all 4 of them. Then you had Leo Rush versus Ace Austin versus John Morrison, and this was really good. For some reason, John Morrison and Ace Austin went out to Leo Rush first, and then eventually he got annoyed and he was like, you know what, I'm leaving. And then Ace Austin, he got a microphone and he was like, you know, it makes you sound like a B word, you know. So he was like, and Leo Rush, he looked at him, and then John Morrison, he hit Ace Austin. He was like, Chris Bey knew me longer, so he probably wants me to win. Then they both take each other out, and Leo Rush comes back in the ring, and he tries to get a pin. Wasn't Morrison kicks out. He goes to pin Ace Austin. Ace kicks out, and then so that's how it ends. Well, no, that's not how it ends. But then the match continues, and Leo Rush, he tries to stay on the outside. He tries to get those sneaky pins, but it's not able to work. And Ace Austin ended up getting the win. He stacked them the same way Roman Reigns stacked Daniel Bryan and Edge at WrestleMania 37, I think. Whatever WrestleMania that was. Ace Austin, he stacked them and he pinned them. He stacked both of them, had the double pin, and Ace Austin got the win. Much deserved. It made sense. Just his tag team partner, Chris Bey. Obviously, they were going to let Ace Austin win. And then you got to the main event. You got Karrion Kross and Hammerstone. I had high expectations for this match. It was a good match. It wasn't, I thought it could have been a great match, but good, I'm going to settle for good. Like, good isn't bad. Like, I like a good match. I thought it could have been great. It wasn't that, but it was still a good match. And you got two powerhouses going at it. You had a ref bump early into the match, so you could get weapons involved. You could get them fighting to the crowd. Then it took a while before another ref came out there. They were just going at it like it was a street fight. Like it was no rules since the ref was out. Then the camera cuts were really bad in this. They were bad throughout the night. But then you had Karrion Kross eventually ended up getting the win in what was a good match. Like I said, Hammerstone did a good job. Karrion Kross took a really weird bump where the move he took, he landed on his legs, which looked really bad. Luckily, he was fine, but Karrion Kross, he got the win. Then he went to shake hands with Hammerstone. They show respect to each other. Like, both these guys are heels. Hammerstone's a heel in TNA. Karrion Kross a heel in WWE, but they show respect to each other. They hugged, they shook hands. And then Karrion Kross, he asked Chris Bey to come out there because he obviously had to end the night with Chris Bey. And Chris Bey, he had to call out his tag team partner, Ace Austin, to come out there, too, to be there for that moment. Scarlett was there, too, showing respect to Chris Bey. And Chris Bey, he got a passionate promo. I won't go too deep into it because it was a lot of emotions running through Chris Bey. He was trying to start it off, like, it was really emotional. Obviously, as I said in the beginning of the video, like a neck injury, that's something serious. Prayers up to him. Well, his recovery has already been speedy. Just hoping that it continues to go well and he gets as much support as he needs. And that it's really great to see that all them fans coming out. It was packed out. It wasn't in no massive stadium or nothing like that. But the people that did show, they showed up and they were a great crowd. And that was a really great way to end it. Well, I forgot to mention this, but before Chris Bey came out there, Danny Limelight, the FSW World Champ, came out there to end the show. When he tried to end the show, then Karrion Kross and Hammerstone both took him out. It was a funny moment. But yeah, shout out to Chris Bey. Shout out to all the wrestlers who came from different promotions to show a love to Chris Bey and put these matches on for him. Shout out to the people that showed support to Chris Bey, donating to his foundation. But leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, comment. Actually done. If you did watch the event, comment what you thought about it, but also comment prayers up for Chris Bey, wishing Chris Bey a speedy recovery. That's what I want y'all to comment on this video, with wishing Chris Bey a speedy. Anything about Chris Bey, just wishing him a speedy recovery. I enjoyed this event. I give the show an 8 out of 10, by the way. Give it an 8 out of 10 because I didn't like the Battle Royal. I thought that was bad, and the 6-man tag team match wasn't good. And then the consistent camera cuts being bad, and the constant lagging from the app, wasn't great. But 8 out of 10, this was a great show, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video.